Hey everyone, Kyle here with Screen Riot. Today we're discussing one of the Oscars Best Picture nominees, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're thrown into the movie with Evelyn, a Chinese American who runs a laundromat with her husband, Wayman, who we find out who's trying to serve her divorce papers. We also find out that their business is being audited by the IRS. Evelyn's father, Gong Gong, is visiting her for her Lunar New Year party. Her daughter, Joy, wants her mother to accept her girlfriend, but Evelyn presents her as an American friend. At the IRS, Wayman's body is taken over by an alternate version from Parallel Universe, who reveals that every choice creates a new alternate universe. The multiverse is now threatened by Joy's alternate version, Jobu, who can manipulate matter and created an everything bagel for some reason. Evelyn is given verse jumping technology to fight Jobu's minions and discovers other universes. Jobu tries to persuade Evelyn to enter the bagel, but Evelyn uses her multiverse powers to find happiness for others around her. So, of course, the movie goes on in a weird fashion. But Justin, what are your first impressions on this movie?
Weird's an understatement, I think.
Yeah.
This is an A24 film, and I'm really starting to like the A24 lineup. They get some creative stuff done, and this movie has me kind of split. I have a feeling it's going to be like a very polarizing movie. Like, you're either going to really like it, or I think you're just really not going to like it because it's just too out there. It's
Yeah.
too string theory multiverse for you.
It kind of reminds me of like Tenet and Doctor Strange mixed together, like you've got, but it includes a lot of comedy. Some of the comedy fell flat though.
Oh,
I
yes.
thought. So there was only like a couple scenes that made me laugh out loud, but there were other scenes that really tried their hardest to make people laugh. But
I laughed in some parts. I was completely grossed out in other parts. So I mean, it's a movie that confuses you the majority of the time, but then once it clicks, you're like, oh, that all makes sense now.
I mean, at the end of the day, this movie is kind of more about family dynamics and accepting people that love you, not taking them for granted. That's what I got out of this movie. But it's wrapped in this insane box of multi-dimensional parallel universes ecosystem, and which are very interesting. I think to Cal's point, some I enjoyed, but some I just not for me. Same with the humor. I found myself laughing in this movie often, but some of the jokes also fell really flat for me.
I think my favorite scene probably is seeing a Short Round kick some ass with a fanny pack.
oh my gosh, that is Short Round.
Wow, holy smoke! Crash landing!
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the first time he's been in a movie in like 20 years.
I like James Hong's character, Gong Gong. I liked the alpha Gong Gong when he was rolling around in his little chair and he's got like a coffee maker in the back. It's almost like he's getting powers from that coffee maker because it's constantly steaming and stuff in the back.
You remind me like a Back to the Future souped up.
Yes. Yeah.
It looked like the Mr. Coffee thing in the Back of the Future car.
Yeah. The whole, I don't know, the whole movie though was just, it was just weird. Like the hot dog hands. That was probably the
Yeah.
grossest. That was probably the grossest scene in there, especially with the sound
That
effects.
was
Man,
weird. That was so
the sound
weird.
effects made it. Like the wobbly fingers and stuff like that was funny, but then the sound effects with them all squishy and everything and wet, and I'm like, yeah, this
Or
is
the
just,
shots where you see him like
Ugh.
putting in each other's mouths. and
Oh, I
stuff.
know. And
Yeah.
then like some mustard or hot or ketchup or something like that was starting to ooze out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what am I watching here? This is nasty.
Not what
But-
I expected out of an Oscar-nominated film.
Did you guys see the subliminal messaging about like suicide awareness?
I can tell you I did not pick that up. I
No?
think my brain bundled all that up into being an angsty teenager, and angsty teenagers say like nothing means anything. They've got that little bit of nihilism in them. Interested to see what you all think, because my brain didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I picked it up whenever Jobu was like, okay, I was scared to do it by myself, but I'm gonna go with you because essentially that the center of the everything bagel is a black hole,
Right.
right?
You just choose not to exist.
Exactly. It's like I'm gonna choose not to exist. I could see it coming. I'm like, okay, they're gonna she's going to ultimately stop her from committing suicide, type thing, because she could not. And by she I mean Evelyn. regardless of what multiverse she was in, that was still her daughter.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
like that. That's my daughter. Jobu's my daughter, and I'm going to save her regardless.
That's why I was probably honing in on the whole suicide subplot, was because at the very end, it was just like, oh, I don't want to lose you, but yet the daughter's like, just let me go. And I'm like, we're not really saying what we're saying here. We're
Yeah,
seeing something else happen.
Yeah, they didn't
Right.
beat you over the head with the thing, but
Right.
I'm right there with you, Kyle. When I was watching this, I immediately thought, oh, okay, this is about suicide.
Yeah.
That's the underlying message that they're trying to get across here, which I thought was fine. And the ending scenes when everything kind of comes to a head, it got me a little bit in the emotional feels. And
Mhm.
when they were talking with the daughter and the mother, and they were reconciling, and she finally stands up to her father and all that stuff. And
It would have been kind of interesting to see if this was like their therapy session. Like the whole multiverse and all that kind of crap wasn't really real. It was just them dealing with everything mentally. That this is how you would actually process something mentally. And instead of actually saying the word suicide, you would just say, I just want to jump in an everything bagel. That's your code word for suicide or something.
yeah, it's just a metaphor that
Mhm.
they were using.
Well, her relationship with Wayman is almost as they did explore that almost as much also. And in the first half of this movie, they're shitting on Wayman like everyone is. I was like, why are you guys
Oh,
why
I
are you guys
know.
so mean to this dude? Like he's not doing anything and like wrong. He seems like a really nice. He's very accepting to his daughter, and he seems like a nice guy. But you can see the resentment that's built up. I was able to resonate with that relationship a lot more than the mother-daughter relationship.
I noticed that too. Where my mind went was his short round character in Indiana Jones was hated so much
Yes.
that I almost wondered if this was like a nod to Indiana Jones and like how people were not liking his character. But that's just
You know
me
what?
getting
Interesting.
Yep.
forcing two things to collide that don't really collide.
What
Right.
would have been great is if one of his multiverses was Raiders.
Oh, that would
Well,
that
not
would have been
Raiders,
great.
but Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
They probably
That
didn't
would've
have the
been-
rights for it.
You can't say anything bad about that character at all. He's nice to everyone, and ultimately that is what Evelyn latches onto to
Mhm.
correct her feelings in the laundromat universe. So, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start standing up to my dad, and I'm gonna be nice about it. I'm gonna be nice to my
Yeah.
daughter now. I'm gonna be nice to
Deandra,
the
or
evil
Jamie
IRS
Lee
lady,
Curtis, yeah.
and nice to Big Nose. Yeah.
Oh my god, that Pomeranian scene.
that
Yeah,
almost
pretty good.
that made me cringe a little bit just because I have a Pomeranian and I'm like, I could not imagine tossing my Pomeranian around like that with a leash. Just
I could.
just zinging.
First person view was great. You see the little paws.
Yeah.
So it's basically that time, gentlemen, where we have to ask ourselves, are we going to stream it or skip it? I'm going to say stream it at least once. I think it's an interesting movie to do it at least once.
I'm gonna stream it. Yeah, for sure. I'll stream it.
Anytime someone takes a swing like this and makes a chaotic original movie, you gotta stream it.
I'm going to be the sole dissenter on this one and say skip it.
All right, well, there you have it. So it's 3-1. So we're basically saying stream it. Let us know below in the comments what you think if you thought it was as chaotic and as weird as we did. Let us know what your favorite scene is.
Your favorite universe.
Your favorite universe, actually, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I actually laughed out loud at Rakakuni. That made me laugh for some
Yes,
stupid
the
reason.
Rakakuni was great.
So we're going to watch one more Best Picture nominee this next Saturday. That's going to be The Banshees of Inisherin, starring Colin Farrell and Brandon Gleeson. That looks kind of interesting. It's not going to be as crazy as this one, I don't think, unless they go into multiple universes. Maybe they do. Maybe they get drunk on Irish whiskey and they have multiple universes. It's happened to me. So with that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you next Saturday. So we'll see you later, everybody.
Cool. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.